Hello, beautiful people on the internet! Today we are going to take a look at a game that I played, and you will probably notice that I have been editing quite a little bit more than normal, and I hope that you can give me some feedback on that. So about this game, I will be playing IMO, and you will get to see how some kind of value plays a role. You will get to see philosophy into play, as well as how you can basically outwit your opponents while defying the logic of this game. So let's get right into it. Hello, beautiful people on the internet. Today we're going to take a look at a very interesting game that we played using IMO. Now this is a very weird game because it kind of goes against the usual way of determining whether or not someone is winning. And I thought that was really interesting, so that's why I decided to record this game. And that's why I want to share it with you. So we are playing IMO, and our opponent is playing Illyrion. It's kind of a long game with a bunch of decisions, so I'm going to show only my part, because I don't feel like there were too many interesting choices from our opponent. And going back to their rating, not too high, but it was still a very interesting game. So yeah, let's just get started. So we go with quite a standard opening for any non-turn 0 tribe, which is to just train another warrior and try and go to some resources that might indicate a village. So as you can see, we find not only a village but also a ruin. And now what's interesting about playing IMO is that they have the opportunity to get philosophy very early on, at which point it is the most effective. And looking at the scores that our opponent had, we could deduce that they were playing Illyrion. Now playing against Illyrion is very incredibly scary, because Illyrion is incredibly fast and expansionist. We on the other hand are playing IMO, and if you know anything about IMO, it is that they can get philosophy and they can be very slow to develop. But once they get going, they can have so many technologies that they can just outmaneuver anything. So it's kind of an interesting matchup. So yeah, find another village. Here we get hunting, just so that we can upgrade that city, and that's definitely worth it. Unfortunately, the other city here doesn't have enough animals to upgrade, so that's a little bit sad, but I guess we can live with that. Let's continue. We decide to, I believe that is this turn. Yep, we don't capture this because we want to get philosophy. Sometimes this is not worth it. For instance, we have taking this village, I believe, increases the cost by 2 or 3 stars. Don't remember exactly, but sometimes it is worth it. In this case, I believe it was worth it, so that's why I waited. Here we take it. It is a bit slow, but we can upgrade with the altar. We of course get, because that is the one unique thing that IMO has. Also look at the points. They are a terrible indicator, of course, of who is winning or not. But in this case, definitely not, because the monument here is worth like 450 points, and it's just 3 population, so that's not a great indicator. Big workshop. And yeah, we get climbing because we get a ruin here, and I like to take that gamble. Also, there's this mountain over here, and we might have another village somewhere over here. Especially because there is this double water tile that isn't deep water. So it is possible that there is anything there. We get the star ruin, which is incredibly overpowered. Definitely because look at the prices for these technologies, they are very cheap. And that definitely gives us a little bit of an edge. So we can upgrade that city, we take a workshop. Probably could have moved a little bit better, but oop, that's going quite rapidly. Now we can deduce that we are stuck on an island, but we are getting off of it quite rapidly. Turn 8 is not too bad. It is, however, very unfortunate that we would need mining to upgrade this to get onto the water. That is just a little bit too expensive at the moment to really be worth it. It's just better to get fishing so that we can actually go and explore. So that was kind of a difficult choice. Either to branch out more rapidly on the water, or to decide and go this way on the water. I decided to take the more aggressive way because we really need to get some advantage over our opponent. They are playing Illyrian, so they will probably out-expand us. Yep, that's what I meant. So we definitely are trying to get as many stars as possible. Here we meet our opponent. We see 2 villages on the water, and we are still in the lead by a bit on score, even though that still doesn't say anything. And here I have a choice, right? Do I try to go and take this village, or do I hold back and try to take a more defensive position with the boats and try to get our economy up and going while basically snagging as many ruins and starfish as possible, while taking the more easily accessible villages that we can defend and not try to get into a fight that we can't win in this early state of the game. Yep, we see that ruin, we see another starfish, and we really like those. At this point, it may have been a good choice to actually go with the mining, and that we could have upgraded the city, and we could have expanded this way. I don't exactly remember what I decided to do. Oh, see, I just decided to go with agriculture. Yeah, I think that in the end, both of these choices are acceptable, but probably would have been better to go with mining in this case. So that's might be a little misplay. That would have given us the chance to take this village and this village quite easily without them being contested too much. Here we go with the border growth. Very nice. Yep, we get that first little thing. We even get another population. And from that we can get our first giant in this city. And we are going to have all the space we need for our navy build-up in case we are going to do it like that. Look at the economy. It is terrible. 15 stars per turn on turn 12 is just awful. But we only have 3 cities, so that's quite okay. But look at these technologies. We are swimming in them. Absolutely swimming. And with all of these stars, we don't need too much economy because we are just getting 10 stars extra per turn. So on the short term, this is better because we can now invest in the technologies. Like I said before, they are cheap, so we can really invest and try to go the long way against Illyrian, because Illyrian, although their dragons are very strong, if you can force them into only having dragons without support, they don't do all that much. And you might get to see what I mean with that. Here we get our first giant. Lovely. And we even get a second giant. Still, look at the map. We know that our opponent has at least three cities. And they probably have 1, 2, 3, maybe more, maybe 2. Something like that. And as I said before, Illyrian is going to out-expand us, and I was not afraid that I was going to have to deal with that because I was just avoiding it. Now, they do get a huge bonus from meeting us because we have such a large amount of score. So that is definitely one of the worst parts of playing IMO, is that you have just so much score in the early game that you're going to basically give your opponent a whole bunch of stars. Also, look at this move. This is one of the best moves, and I don't know whether or not they had vision on us. Oh, nope, they didn't. They enchant this Polytopia, which moves this guy over here, which allows them to hit us. This is a genius, absolutely genius move. Credits to this player for actually seeing that. That's impressive. That really hampers our ability to get this starfish. And we get strategy. Still, look at these technologies. They're so cheap. There's like a whole fire sale going on, and it's just incredible. This is why I love playing IMO sometimes, even though you haven't seen me play them. This is exactly why you should play them. They can really warp the game with early philosophy. It is a very underrated technology, I feel like. Like, it doesn't really give you an army per se, but it just powers up everything else you do. And for games that go a little bit longer than like 15 turns, that can really be worth it. Yep, we finally decide to try and go for some villages over here. Get an explorer. And the explorer of course decides to go the wrong way, although we do see a ruin and that this island is not yet under any pressure from them. So we are going to take full advantage of that and maybe go into equal village territory, even though, yeah, they are definitely going to kill this boat, for instance, and they can pressure this, although we can probably unsiege. Yep, there goes the boat. And now we see that they have sailing, and they are definitely going to be able to pressure us. But here the genius part is going to start. We don't have a lot of stuff going on, and our opponent has a little bit better of an economy, I can tell you, probably. And what we are going to do is take the defensive stance. And you might say, why the heck would you go for a defensive stand when you are not losing and when you are still expanding? And I say, it's all part of the plan. So let's see what that plan means. The plan means get an explorer to see what is going on, and it still goes the wrong way. That's lovely. We see that they see this, and we also see that we don't have the ability, because we didn't go for the mines, to pressure them. So we are just going to give up. Don't invest in anything that you can't keep. Except maybe when you're like doing funky stuff. Also look at the turn length. Their turns are way longer, which is usually a great indicator that the longer turn player is winning. Yep. See what they are doing? They are buying expensive stuff, and we are just not going to try and defend it, basically. So this is like a very weird and wacky plan. What the heck? Huh. Where was I? So we are just not going to invest stars in defending something that we can't keep. So that really saves us a lot. And they are like paying 8 stars for this, and we are just not going to give them any value out of it. And that's something that I have been trying to get a hold of and try to get better at, is when do you need to spend your money on an attack or defense, and when do you not spend anything because you can do something better. And this game is really a good example of sometimes you have to not follow the rules of a normal Polytopia game. Because usually it is best to expand as quickly as you can and then pressure your opponent with a whole bunch of units and just try to have a better economy than they do. And in this game I don't expand very rapidly, but I am trying to build up such a situation that we can't get beaten as easily, because Illyrian, although they are incredibly cool tribe and they have some unique tricks such as the Polytars in boats or something like that, and they are definitely going with like an economy based approach, sometimes you have to confuse your opponent a little bit and not follow the rules. So you'll get to see what I mean with that. So instead of worrying about upgrading something that we can't keep, or just overall trying to be aggressive or anything, we just let them take that. And we see them take a wall in this city, which is okay. Get some stars. And we are just not going to be bothered by whatever they are doing. We're just slowly building up something over here that our opponent can see. I'm going to tell you that they can't see it. But look at this army here. And then let's turn off the fog. compare that to, ooh, one dragon egg, to this. Now, there's a bunch of units, but they're all very spread out. And this is a very concentrated army. And what that amounts to is that we can strike their weak point, because this is just a bunch of rafts. I mean, they have a catapult and stuff over here, but we can block this movement because we can just stand on that mountain, and this defender has so many hit points, and we can just unalive anything that goes by here. Now we can just punch through and try to just defeat anything that's going on. So let's see if that is what is going to happen. For now though, we keep slowly but surely building up an army. Oh no, they hit my bomber. Whatever shall I do? Here they start investing in stuff, and that's all nice and good. But these explorers, what do you call them? These scouts. They are great for exploration and for sometimes sniping these bombers, but they're not the greatest at attacking. Then you would really need a combination of like rammers and some bombers and maybe some scouts as well. But remember, these scouts are 7 stars each, and that is not the cheapest. And we are also like making huge expanses, but we can deal with that because we don't have to focus on trying to control the entire board. We are just trying to concentrate some army and then strike when we have the chance. And getting all of those stars and starfish really helps. See what this did there? It cost them 7 stars only for them to lose that unit and not deal any damage. So that was really not worth it. I'm going to turn on the fog again because we didn't have complete vision yet. See, this is what I mean with the defenders. We put a rammer down here to block, and we are just building up an army, and looking at them, they don't have any defensive position set up. Maybe over here though, but they can't just go around and deal with this in one turn, and that was really the weak part. And see, yeah, they can do some upgrading and they can snipe some stuff, but look at the investments they're making just to get their units killed. See, bye. Bye, units. Bye. And then I'm going to play back this turn in a little bit. The following turn, that is. Also, look at the amount of units we have and the amount of units they have. We just have way more, even though they definitely have... wait, I counted them out. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cities, and they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 cities. Usually what that means is that we would definitely be losing. But in this case, we just have such a huge amount of units built up that if we decide to strike, which we are now going to do, and do it properly, they don't get any value out of their units because they just die. Look at that. Here we go. Now would you look at that? Oop. Now take a look at the amount of units that are left. Sure, there is 2 scouts over here. There's like a 1 HP rammer and there's some stuff, but that's not going to be enough to kill this huge amount of units that's over here. And that means it's just game over. Even though they control around 60%, over 60% of the map, they just couldn't keep up with what I was building up here. And that goes really into just the way that I decided to play this game, which was make as much use out of the units that you can get, and then try to get just all the value. Just value-gasm all over the place. And that started with one choice. The choice to get philosophy. And it can really get out of hand. Because we didn't have to spend a bunch on technologies that we were going to use later in the game, because that's the point at which they are going to be very expensive. We bought everything in like the first 10 turns that we would need, and from there we could just go ahead and get everything, focus on the army, and that makes IMO a very interesting tribe to play. So, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, because it really helps me out. This game was really interesting to me, so I hope you also enjoyed it. I will see you in the next one. See ya!